X-Men next Saturday morning. Check your local listings.
This is pathetic.
Where we used to live. Why did you keep the mousetrap?
Life could be worse.
This is the worst. This is the worst. This is the worst. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the Disney stock just keeps going down and down and down.
Join in, folks. It's yodeling time.
Still, I want them back. Look into the old apartment. 42 stairs from the street.
I'm bag of pixie dust. Contraband.
They're going to do the Mary Poppins thing. They're going to do it. They're going to do it.
Why did you keep the dish rack? These things used to be mine. I guess they're still, I want them back. Here at Lester's.
Elephant green screen effect.
Oh, bitch, you killed Kenny.
Kenny.
You fat hoe.
I get it. I'm not persecuted. I'm just an ass.
If you haven't subscribed to Lorena yet and you're watching this, you suck.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm Reina Creole, of course, bring you that spice to sci-fi and pop culture analysis, keeping it real when it comes to theme parks, and definitely keeping it hot when it comes to the Spice Lounge podcast, where we don't shy away from throwing those hot takes, spicy conversations about what's happening out there in pop culture this week. And I'm very, very excited to have yet another special guest on with me. And that special guest, of course, is Chillmonger. How are you doing,
I'm more
my dear?
excited to be here than you are to have me, Lorena. I'm super excited.
Oh, bless you. You're so sweet. Well, dude, I know you've been in the Dark Council a couple of times and just been an absolute blast over there with you. So I had to post you and bring you over here to my channel to kind of mix it up a little bit and pick your brain about some of the pop culture topics that are going on.
And the pop culture topics we're about to disagree on too, because I don't think we're in line 100%.
That's okay. That's what we do here. We let the conversation flow from all viewpoints, because I'm saying you got to at least have an opinion. It's okay to have differing opinion. There's some people who think that pineapple on a pizza is okay, and I vehemently disagree.
That's already the first one. I'm good with it. I've done it. I tried it in college.
You're good with pineapple. Oh, okay. All right. You can have that. It's like more for me. More for me.
Some pineapple emojis in the live chat now. There's the people, and we used to eat pineapples on pizza. Come on. All right, Twisters. Yeah.
Didn't work for me. Didn't work for me. Although I do like pineapple that's been put on a grill. That's freaking tasty. That's quite tasty. I would not throw away the pizza and have pineapple on it. It's like,
what is it? What is the ingredient on the pizza that disqualifies pineapple from being on it? Is it you can't mix cheese and pineapple? Is it you can't mix tomato sauce and pineapple? What is it?
It just doesn't appeal to me. It's just the two. I don't know if it's the sweetness. I don't know if it's the texture, but pineapple on pizza, nah. Although given a choice between pineapples on pizza and anchovies on pizza, I'll definitely go with the pineapple.
You know, I've never tried anchovies. I don't like the smell of it, so I just don't feel like it's pizza worthy.
Don't. It's so appealing.
True.
Yeah. This is true, CJ. CJ's my thumbnail guy, folks. Hooking me up with these awesome thumbnails. So let's see, we've got 32 of you guys in here in the chat. Gonna run through here and say hello really quick before we get to our hot topics, and then our two main topics, of course. First main topic, we're going to be talking about Captain America: Brave New World. That trailer just dropped for that troubled production, I would say. So there's some news coming out. Of course, we're going to talk about it. And we're going to talk about a sci-fi show that I don't think is on a lot of people's radars, but it is rapidly speeding up the ratings chart for streaming and is actually in the top 10. And that would be Black superhero sci-fi drama Supercell, which is on Netflix. So we're going to talk about that as well.
Yes.
Can't wait. It's going to be freaking off. It's going to be awesome. So let's see who we got in here. We got Northman JH says, good evening. Well, good evening, Northman. We've got Truth Without TV and Film Reviews who says, hi, I'm new on here. Well, welcome. We are very glad that you're here hanging out with us. Appreciate that. We've got Keely Chow, another one of my wrenches, along with CJ, says, hey, everybody. Well, hey, and hello. We've got Mark Daly, who says, greetings from the Panhandle, a.k.a. South Georgia. Good to see you. Good to see you, Mark, as always. We've got Film Watcher 96, who says, hey, and hello. CJ is saying, welcome, Raiders. So for all you Raiders coming over from that game place, thank you so very much for being here. We've got Bella Michelle Jersey Girl, who says, hello, everyone. Dartmouth MA says, hi, Lorena. I'm always happy to see you. Hello. And Double A, hello. Says, I'm glad the nightmare is over and we can finally get back to our daily lives. By the way, I actually lost brain cells throughout this whole 7 weeks of torment watching these episodes. I presume you're talking about the Acolyte, which we're going to rip that Band-Aid and talk about right off the bat for hot topics. So I won't let you wait long. Hey, Chef Nation. Good afternoon, beautiful people. It's over, y'all. I gotta laugh because just like with Ahsoka, my channel members and I were all watching the Acolyte together to start out with, and it got so bad. I was like, I can't put y'all through this. I can't. And then
as a fan of Ahsoka, I understand how you laughed at the part where Sabine was given the extra force push to Ezra. It was a bit too much. I still enjoyed the show. I thought the lightsaber fighting was better than, the best lightsaber fighting we've seen in Disney, haven't we? I don't think I've seen a better lightsaber, which isn't a high standard. Fine, I get it. But I was with it. It was continuing Rebels. It felt like it was part of Star Wars. Wow, we're going to a new galaxy. I was good with it. It was a great show, if you ask me.
For me, I didn't watch Rebels, fell asleep on Rebels, tried to watch Clone Wars, wasn't getting it for me. So overall, I liked the part that I liked about the show was that Rosario Dawson was in it. So for me, it was a fangirl thing. I'm like, Rosario was in it. I'm there to watch it. And even that force, I'm still gonna make fun of that because I freaking loved it. I thought it was so freaking cheesy. But watching the show, even though I found some things to not be so great or whatever, it wasn't what I would call a horrible experience watching. The Acolyte, on the other hand, there's no freaking redeeming. There's no freaking redeeming that one at all, because and I'll show that when I get to that topic. But the way that I look watching Ahsoka, where it actually looks like I'm having fun, even though what I'm seeing is not so great, as opposed to watching the Acolyte, was just like I just can't. Hey Nita, hey, good to see you. Yoda sold out. LOL. No, get the. I think like Rise of Palpatine. I no longer have Disney Plus. Yeah, I can't. I cannot press. I can't watch that. Like
It doesn't count.
ever.
I'm not gonna consider it canon. Yoda never showed up, and that was the wrong puppet too. That was like one of the older Yoda models from like 80s. I think that was like an
Empire
Easter
Strikes
egg.
Back Yoda.
That was an old model. He should have had more hair. He should have looked like a younger version of what a species of Yoda is supposed to look like.
Yeah. Man, y'all get it. F. Dad going in. Hey, Larry, good to see you. Good to see you. Northman JH says Darth Plagueis the Wise is so no wise. Yeah, I heard about that. I knew that was going to happen too. I said I'm gonna pop out. And Double A says Chillmonger looking fresh with the curly hair. I know. Good.
All I needed some bubble gum. Pop it open.
All right, let's see. We've got Bonzo Kilburn in the chat. What's cracking, Your Highness? And he's saying, hail to you, Chillmonger. And let's see, there's Tom F in the chat. Hello. And just got the notification. Well, no worries, my dear. Just glad you're here. Glad 28 of you are here. This is the Spice Loungers. Please make sure you go and hit that notification bell. Also, make sure that you hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed as well. So, oh God, let's rip the Band-Aid off of this. I said, and I thought the Force push in Ahsoka was stupid. The Acolyte said, hold my beer. Now, to refresh you guys' memory, you know this is one of my favorite clips for so many reasons. And how come I can't find my darn clip? This is just okay. Here we go. So here's a one from Ahsoka. All right, they're gonna do the Mary Poppins thing. They're gonna do it.
You know what? One way they could have improved that, Lorena, is if he made the jump. If he made like 95% of it, and her push only gave 5% extra, I would be like, oh, okay, I can see that.
I could groove with that. I could really groove with that.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, it was just like he couldn't make it, so I had to push him all the way over. I'm like, oh come on now. But if y'all thought that was bad, look at this here.
Wow.
What is that?
It's not the Star Wars franchise.
Is it Crouching? It's not. It's like a bad interpretation of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and not in a good way. I mean, because I agree with you, Chill. The lightsaber fights in Ahsoka, like I could give those a pass because they actually they were okay. I really had no real, well, some parts I thought were a little slow, but overall I was like, okay, that's all right. But this
straight line, just like a wire.
We've never seen this.
Maybe that's the point, though. This is TV. We're trying to spread our Star Wars wings, and we're going to show you new things. There's the witches, and there's some different interpretations of what the Force is. That's the idea, uniqueness. You guys want the same thing all the time? Maybe that's what they're going for. They're trying to say, like, this is how we would do Star Wars.
Yeah, Ahsoka was redeemable. So, and Chill is like, I would let them off with that if the writing wasn't so god awful. You ever know how there's like movies that are really good, but some of the effects are just the pits, but we overlook that because the other, like the crux of the story and all that stuff is good and the dialogue is good. So it's like, okay, we'll let y'all have.
Black Panther 2018, perfect movie if you ask me.
Oh, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, but it had lackluster visual effects. There was moments where you could see they needed improving.
Yeah, it's kind of like y'all could have touched that. Y'all could have touched that up a little bit better.
CJ said
But,
Blade
yeah.
also. I guess so.
Yeah, that's true too. But given how long ago it was, yeah, it's just like the writing I love. Some of it, yeah, I could see that. I have seen this in about 40-year-old kung fu motives. Yeah, see, it's like if it was a kung fu movie, you can forgive that because they always threw in a couple of those like that's unbelievable kind of moves, but we didn't. Oh, none of us really cared that much because the story was good.
So is slow-mo considered not Star Wars? Because we kind of have these unwritten rules of what is, what isn't. I don't want to hear radio music playing in the credits of a Star Wars TV show. That doesn't fit. Like I'll just hear a pop song. We've never had to write these down. These are unwritten rules. Yeah, look at this. This is not fitting of this franchise. And what was the suspense? What
No.
did you just went in slow motion and he was just like, "Oh, I'm going to avoid you and I'm going to come at you with the same speed. We're just going to watch it happen in slow motion." That's all. If you're going to give me some slow motion, give me like, remember when Kylo Ren, oh my God, I'm giving The Last Jedi credit. Kylo Ren was about to shoot his mom and we were like, "Oh my God, what?" And there was slow motion. I think it was in slow motion, but there was definitely suspense because of what was going to happen. Here, we're just going in slow motion to see him miss the lightsaber swipe. Yay.
Yeah, it's just one continuous shot. It's not other things that are intercut to add to the suspense. Not that it's slow. Well, in a way, it is slow motion. Have you ever watched The Untouchables?
I think so.
Okay, the scene where they are in the train station and the agents are there to go after Capone's guys, and this lady loses control of her baby stroller, and this gunfight breaks out, and it is in slow motion. But you see the different perspectives of each of the characters intercut as you go through that slow motion scene. And it is a textbook definition of how to do that. It is.
I got it here on the side, and I'm not gonna like play it. I'll pause and stuff just so we don't get dinged. But pull it up and tell me exactly when I should be going to, like 10 minutes. It's a 9-minute video, so when
let's see, maybe about there.
I mean, of course we get
an ad. Dang it! I got
about right here.
Yeah, about right there. So she loses. Oh, I forgot something. I'm going to pick up my suitcase and I let go of baby carriage. And you have this complication of the baby carriage. Kevin Costner, he's on the lookout for Capone's guys because he's got to take them out.
Yeah.
And as it goes, it is just, it's man, it is literally, you can see there's like the wheels. That's the slow-mo that they use. It's not in real time. It's purposely slowed down.
Yeah, I can see the suspense. I'm with it. Yeah.
So it's like, it's not this. It's like it's just one shot. And kung fu movies do this, but it's like a break in between the intense combat action that's going on. And we're most likely, yeah, we'll go ahead and forgive that, do the money pose. We like that. And then they keep going. But with this one, it was just crazy. Untouchables was awesome. Yes, it is. That movie's so freaking good. Best death scene ever. With Sean Connery, best death scene freaking ever. It was just crazy. Slow-mo was fine. Stupid is not. True. Yeah. Only play pop songs in a medieval time movie. I know for me, I think that it's.
Is that a Shrek joke?
Probably. Or oh shoot.
The Martin Lawrence
Knight's Tale.
Or
like Knight's Tale. They were playing Queen in Knight's Tale. A couple other songs like that. But what I think is I'd heard that, and I think it's more of like a modern marketing thing now with certain audiences that they're trying to go to. they'll throw pop music in there. Like, have you seen the trailer for Gladiator 2?
Right. Yes. Same
Just
thing.
like what they did. Yeah, same thing. I would have preferred the more classical score, but look, this is the people that they're trying to pull in, and they may just wind up using that for the trailer to get butts in seats because that's the trailer's job to do. And they may have the classical score in the film.
How many times has that worked though to appeal to some new people with popular music?
I don't like it.
I would imagine Suicide Squad trailer did a good job. If you were a Queen fan and you heard that song in that trailer, you probably were moved to go to the theaters. But it's not that much of a stretch. I feel like it's an appropriate song usage for that genre.
Yeah, but for Star Wars, it's kind of like, I didn't think it was bad. I'm just like, I don't know. It wasn't, let's put it this way. Of the litany of things that's wrong with the Acolyte, that pop song put at the end was pretty much low down at the scale of things. But I think just how hard, just how bad the series was.
It's just another telling piece of evidence when someone complains, they don't know what they're doing and they don't understand Star Wars. It's like reason number 43.
Right, exactly. Hey, Griffins, as if I may interject, and that's okay. Slow motion should be done when it feels part of the story. It can't be just special effects. In this untouchable scene, if you listen carefully, you hear the mom's heartbeat. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Sound is part of it too. That's why that whole scene in the Untouchables is so classic, because there's so many elements going on. It's a masterpiece. That was Coppola, right? Francis Ford Coppola, I think, that did the Untouchables, which would make sense because he does some bangers. Hey, Barry Place, how you doing? Good to see you. CJ says, I love how modern movies have all turned into martial arts films, even a long time ago in a far, far place in the galaxy. Yet Star Wars isn't supposed to be martial arts. Disney Star Wars seems to want to do it. But if you take into account everything with Star Wars, it's more classical sword fighting, except for instead of swords, you have sabers instead.
I just think that the Star Wars fan base is so huge already. It's enough people to be like, oh, we'll only cater to them. Just give people what they liked from George Lucas Star Wars and kind of, add new characters, but kind of keep things similar enough. You'd be profitable. Especially when we haven't been getting George Lucas Star Wars. It would be like a breath of fresh air if we got George Lucas like Star Wars. Even call him up. He's still around. He's 80 years old. Congratulations on the milestone. But we know, let's maximize your time you're here. Like while you're still here, you got this library named George Lucas who's willing to give some input if you just ask him, and we're ignoring him.
Absolutely.
And the director was De Palma.
Oh, Brian De Palma. Okay, thank you. I knew he was up there. Buddies with Lucas and Spielberg. Yes. Absolutely. I knew whoever did the Untouchables, it was not their first rodeo because there was just too much detail and how tight the storytelling and cinematography is in that movie. Just freaking awesome. Even when they did anime Star Wars shorts, even though it wasn't canon, kind of feels like it is. Did you see the anime Star Wars?
Visions,
yes.
I saw most of them.
Yeah. What did you think of Visions?
Well, it did what it was supposed to do. But again, what are we saying? It's attracting a brand new audience. It's going, hey, you guys like Japanese stuff, kids? We know that's hot. Here, maybe this will make you care about Star Wars. And if that brought in kids, that's what I'm talking about. But is it canon? No. So I kind of only I'm interested in the canon stuff. I'm a big comic head. I don't read Star Wars comics because whether they say they're canon or not, they're not canon. Nothing consequential happens there. So Star Wars Visions is like cool, and it's been 3 years since the first one, and we haven't seen any of these stories get picked up. Even the one with the Ninth Jedi that everyone seemed to love. If you're gonna like adapt or continue it further, or canonize one of the Visions, you had time, you had a chance to do it. It's clear you're not doing it. All right, cool. Just what if stories.
Yeah, because that was a one-off. Like it wasn't supposed to be canon kind of like, if you could do anything and it not have any consequence to the main canon timeline, what would you do? And I know with that, with some of the shorts, they were written so good. That's just like, you did that in like 7 minutes.
You know
Star
how
Wars,
you know how
how
you get
long?
across a 7-minute story? It's that you rely on the foundation of Star Wars was already built, and you just go because you don't have to do character introductions or anything. Everyone's familiar with what Star Wars is, and then you execute the short movie. That's how you do it.
Mhm.
And these guys get it. But no, they're not worthy of
Absolutely.
getting the canon. Think of all the inclusion, all the talking that they do. And then you finally got all these Japanese studios and you're going, but you guys don't get to make it canon. Well, how disrespectful is that? No, I'm just seeing it that way. Like they talk a big talk,
It's a
but
good
when it came
point.
to actuality, Leslie Headland's show is canon. I'm not calling it canon, but Star Wars Visions. Now you guys are doing some stuff out of continuity. You know, we're not going to give you that with the status. You know, all right, that shows what you think of these Japanese creators.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And Barry on, I enjoyed the Phineas and Ferb Star Wars special, but I don't think it's canon.
Good
That
point.
Phineas and Ferb Star Wars special was off the chain. I loved it.
Yeah, some
I
things don't
loved
need
it.
to be canon for enjoyability, right? Family Guy's
Right.
special, Tag and Bink in comics. You can enjoy things without it being canon. So I
Robot
understand that.
Chicken.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, I Star Wars is done. I mean, I didn't watch this. I don't ever plan to finish watching this. If there's anyone I really feel bad for, is Jae Jung Lee.
Is that
For
the
being in
actor
this.
from Squid
He's
Game?
the actor. Yeah, that's the actor from Squid Game. He's not sadly, but even with English not being his first language, it still added to the role that he had. And if there's one thing that it seems most people agree on, is that they really do appreciate his performance. He's the best thing that's in it, but people feel bad that the material isn't so hot. So hopefully the next thing that he gets, and I do believe he's going to get, of course, something. Not that he needs anything from American TV, because he's already a huge star in South Korea. So considering how popular South Korean cinema and television is, it's like he's going to be fine. But it's like I kind of feel bad. And yes, he was amazing in Squid Game. He really was. I was like, dang, this guy's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. Well, let's see. We're going to pop to another hot topic. I know we spent a lot on the Acolyte because it was like, rip that off and done. But I have to talk about this here. And thanks to Kiss My Grits for sending this to me. Disney World removes beloved character from park after 50 years over fears it could offend alcoholics.
That's a new one.
So let me give a little bit of context, because Jill, you might not be up to speed with this. So there was this animatronic show called the Country Bear Jamboree, and it was like a spoof about like Western variety show with bears. Pretty non-offensive, old school. People think it's fun. Every show I've been in, people love it. It's cheesy, just fun. Songs like Please Don't Whip Little Buford. I mean, people just laughing at it because it's just how ridiculously fun it is. Well, some folks thought it problematic. So they brought in a bunch of IP songs. But not only did they do that, but there's a character called Liver Lips McGraw. And apparently, liver lips is a derogatory term for an alcoholic.
Yes.
Or so Inside the Magic, aka Inside the Tragic, claims without any official statement from Disney about that. So that's pure conjecture, but you have news outlets running with that as fact. That is not fact. That's something that Inside the Tragic put together, along with also trying to say that liver lips is also racially insensitive too. Never freaking heard of it. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're doing damage. I think like you're introducing a brand new slur into the lexicon, which what? I didn't know about this one.
I didn't know about this either, and there was no proof of that. I've never heard about that at all. But I'm like, yet again, you have companies like Disney trying to determine what is offensive when no one's complained or said anything. And it's like, I've never heard of anybody, alcoholics, being offended. I mean, if you're worried about offending alcoholics, why do you serve alcohol in the Magic Kingdom where this attraction is?
Ooh. Alcohol is served there. All right, then you can't have this anti-alcoholic stance when you were that alcohol being served does more damage to alcoholics or recovering alcoholics than this character who what's his real name? Is it actually like printed anywhere? Do people know his name or do you have to
No,
do some research?
he says who he is. He gets
Uh-huh.
introduced as Liver Lips McGraw. People just laugh because it just sounds like a funny name, because all the bears have just like these funny kitschy names. And all I do is just sing these really weird, off-kilter, funny songs that people are just laughing at because they're just so, so ridiculous. It's like ridiculous fun,
All right.
But I'm like, I don't remember anybody ever saying, "Hey, I'm an alcoholic and I'm offended at someone called Liver Lips."
But if it is offensive and you do want to change it, there's ways to do it. One of the ways to do it is to, oh man, you know what? The machine broke, but we're going to introduce a new machine. His name is not going to be Liver Lips. His name will be Lippy Lips McGraw. And maybe no one will notice. There's ways to do these changes, but there's a fondness after 50 years. People have, not repeat viewers, but customers who go to the park, right? People have a fondness and you don't want to offend them, which there's more of them than there are people who looked at this after 50 years who went, oh, Liver Lips, I'm offended. It might be like 10 guys who made a letter and that's enough to do this. Meanwhile, T'Challa's not recast by Disney. Anyways,
yeah. We might talk about that a little bit when we get to Brave New World.
There's offensive things that they partake in. If we're talking the Acolyte, I remember looking at the posters and noticing Amanda Stenberg is always to the side, and they'd have the soul character up top, and they would have her like a light over her face, so you can't really tell what is her natural skin tone. There's always a red light interfering. All of the posters that maybe she's like facing away and just in a cloak, and it's called the Acolyte. There was a pattern of their posters, thumbnails of Amanda Stenberg not being focused on. That's offensive because you finally do a lead character where it's not someone painted with a face like Rosario Dawson. It's finally a legitimately black lead, and you're not 100% behind it in the advertising, which is kind of the point of why you do the black lead. You're trying to humanize the skin tone, but there's lights and, like I said, bells and whistles. That's offensive, Disney. This is, I'm offended you included Liver Lips. You could have kept it with the alcoholics. Why did you have to get racial with it? I want to pretend I never heard what you just told me.
Yeah. But now they're going to call him Romeo. And I mean, isn't that also used as term for someone who's kind of a quote unquote Romanizer?
I guess you could say that. I mean, because look, if we're digging that deep to get Liver Lips and find offense there, we can find offense in Romeo also. Call him
Exactly.
Iger, then we'll see. Then we'll, like do something where we can. Oh, you guys really mean it?
Kiss my grits. Imagine how all those rum guzzling drunk pirates and Pirates of the Caribbean make alcoholics feel.
Oh, they're next.
Oh, and they pump in the smell of rum too.
Shut up.
Yes, they do. Yes.
What is happening?
When you go through Pirates of the Caribbean, of course they got pirates there. They got their rum and everything. And some of the scenes that you go through, you could actually smell rum. They pump in the smell of rum. Yes,
I'm recovering, and I'm sympathetic. If I'm recovering from alcoholism to anyone, I that's hard. You're smelling the smell of rum, and you've been sober for 6 weeks, and you get that. That's difficult.
That's like being a smoker and you float by a scene where they're smoking and the smell goes up your nose. That's just something That's just something else. Yes, Cynthia. Yes, they have the smell of rum, and Double A hit it. Exactly. So it's like stop looking for stuff to be offended by. I really wish, well, Inside the Tragic, gonna be Inside the Tragic. If you don't have a source for it, just say that's your opinion and that's just what you believe might be the case.
How would you feel if they said, if none of this existed, they said we want to offer a new experience, we're gonna discontinue one of our characters just so we can get a new song with a new character? Would you go, man, we're missing him, or would you say, I guess that's what's best for the business, and this is my last chance to go and see Liver Lips McGraw? Like, how would you feel? If they didn't mention anything about it's offensive and they just said we're offering a new attraction, but most of it will be the same? Would you, the park goer, go, they're ruining my childhood, or this is necessary?
It's more of like, okay, I'm cautiously optimistic. We'll see what happens. Because that's what a lot of people were thinking. They were like, okay, at least I'll just speak for me. But when I heard that this change was coming, I'm like, okay, so they're going to spruce up some of the animatronics because they do need some love because they are old. Yeah. And the last day of the whole thing, so many people went to see it that the animatronics kept breaking down. But they were 50 years old, so they need, some TLC. So I'm thinking, okay, well, you're probably going to bring in some other songs, maybe some new funny nonsense songs or whatever, and bring it in. So it's like, okay, we'll see what happens as long as the charm and everything of the Country Bears is still there. That would be my attitude. There's some people who are just like, oh, my childhood is ruined, blah blah blah, because you're always going to have that part of people who are going to do that.
Out of the 13 bears, one of them is missing. They're going to be overreacting, and that's what I'll call them, overreactors.
Just like, oh, it's all over. No, it's not. It's not over until you actually see it and see what's happened. And that's why when people, especially outlets like the Daily Mail, I see you, and the New York Post, I see you. Soon as you quote Inside the Tragic, we already know something's up. And when they're saying this stuff and without any concrete proof or evidence, it's kind of like, okay, what are you trying to stir up here? Can't wait for Neurotic's take on it. Well, I'm actually going to that attraction. It opens today, but I'm actually going to go on Monday and check it out. So
that racially offensive attraction.
Racially offensive attraction that is very, very insensitive to alcoholics. Even though you could go around the corner and get yourself a Dole Whip float with some alcohol in it.
What do you know? They're
just saying.
The racial stuff bugs me. And you've spoken on this. The way that they changed what's Tiana's ride? It used to be called Splash Mountain, right? So
yeah.
So you ask me, I go, okay, Princess and the Frog Tiana, she's worthy of having her own ride with her own themes, and to just repackage a traditional, famous ride and say we're gonna stick Tiana. That's you avoiding the cost it would take and the effort it would take to actually like curate a ride specific to her movie Princess and the Frog. That, if we're talking racially offensive, I'm offended by that at your theme parks.
Yeah, likewise, she deserves her own attraction, not one that you decided to reskin.
It's the Captain America thing all over again. Falcon deserves his own name.
All over again. It's just, yeah. And it's not working regularly at all. That's why we call it Burr Rabbit's Revenge, because that ride does not stay up and running. No, it's a total garbage fire, and it's going to go down for extensive refurb pretty soon. And Starship 824, yes, this is what I was talking about. They just changed his name. Disney never said anything official that was the case. You have a website like Inside the Magic, that is surmising this without any proof. But you also have these news outlets that pick this up. And it's just like, you need to vet this stuff, especially Inside the Tragic, because let's face it, What's Johnny? Oh, Amber Heard. Her defense used Inside the Tragic as a source.
Huh.
Uh-uh. Not doing that. Not doing that. Not doing that. When will they close Living with the Lamb because of the Feds carnivores? I don't know. I have no idea. No idea. Well, let's see. Let's move on to this next hot topic here. And this is Marvel Shocker coming to us from the Hollywood Reporter's Heat Vision blog. Russo brothers in talks to direct next two, not one, two Avengers movies. Just when you and the Russos themselves, quite frankly, thought they were out, Kevin Feige is pulling them back in.
Just 2 weeks away from San Diego Comic-Con. So this one, there's something to chew on here, right? This is probably when phone calls are being made, and if something is going to leak out, it's probably happening now. Now, the Russo brothers probably spoke to Kevin Feige about this months in advance, and they already kind of knew it. Maybe they didn't officially put anything pen to paper because loose lips, because exactly this we're 2 weeks away, and loose lips are now, like, Boris Kitt is reporting on it. He knows his stuff. He's usually valid. This is happening. The Russo brothers are in talks. They're probably already decided, and it's more than just talks. We hear about it late. They already knew what's happening. It's in line with what Bob Iger was saying, like, less than a year ago. He said, we're quietly canceling some projects, and we're going to focus more on our bigger IPs. I feel like now they know. After Quantumania made 400 million, I think Captain Marvel 2, they only made 200 million. They know that you can't just slap Marvel on something and expect money. So fine, we'll pay the directors that, got us our highest grossing films that have ever happened. We'll pay them, and we'll do what we got to do. So
Yeah, and that makes
it's up. No, look, we did this. We, by not repeat viewing, by not watching movies, and by not being like shills and kind of promoting the movies anyways, we the fans, via our word of mouth or lack of, our box office resulted in this decision where they go, okay, we got to do stuff for the fans.
Absolutely. And to add what you were saying, especially when you're talking about directors, how many Marvel movies of late had been passed to directors with a resume so thin you could read through it? And they're given these multi-million-dollar Marvel properties to work on. And it's not to say that having a thin resume doesn't mean you won't be an amazing filmmaker. But there's a difference between an attitude of a young filmmaker who says, I don't know everything about this particular property or universe. I need to get all the people who know more than me, get them all together to help me make this a stellar project, as opposed to, I didn't read any of the comics. They told us not to read any of the comics. They told us not to, do any
you
of
saw
that
compilation video also.
Yeah, Disney told us not to do, like, that was literally, the fatwa they were given not to read any of the Marvel material. And now you bring back the Russo brothers, who have a thick resume, who have a proven track record.
Yeah, they produced everything all at once. They got outside of Marvel. They've got the proof within Marvel. Then they got proof outside of Marvel that they're not just lucky and they're good. It's about time. Bring them back.
Yeah. Because do you really want the Russo brothers, if you're Disney, do you really want the Russo brothers putting out films that are going up for Academy Awards and winning over yours? Did Wakanda Forever win an Oscar?
It was not even nominated for the best score, and they won best score the first time.
And it didn't happen. And only the main movie, there were two movies that people talked about the most with respect to the Oscars: RRR and Everything Everywhere All at Once. That was the buzz about it. And Michelle Yeoh, sorry. I was thinking Margaret. Michelle Yeoh won an Oscar, and Jamie Lee Curtis won an Oscar for Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. So Disney don't want that happening. And they pretty much, Disney probably giving the Russos every single thing that they have asked for, because the Russo brothers don't need Disney. Disney needs the Russo brothers.
Clearly. And the Russo brothers can afford to say, no, we're only coming for this price. So, and not, fine, we'll do things that are creatively stimulating over here.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
What about Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely, who are the screenwriters who also did Civil War with these guys and Winter Soldier? They did Infinity War and Endgame, and they're part of their production team. The Marcus and McFeely are just as key, and I don't think that these guys come alone. Marcus and McFeely come with them. If you go to Disney Plus and you listen to the, when they do director's commentary, it's these two brothers and Marcus and McFeely explaining as the movie as Endgame happens. They're key also, and I think that they're also on the board. They got to be on board. It's just, I'm assuming it, but they've got to be on board if Joe and Anthony Russo are coming.
I agree. Yeah, they need to they need to bring these two white guys back. They're making money. Shoot, what does it say? It's not the only color that matters is green. There's truth to that, folks. Into that. Cynthia Carter, they must have offered the guys a tidy sum. I hope they're allowed to make something worth watching and don't just trash their reputation for some cash. I don't think that's going to happen with respect to the Russo brothers, because they have a reputation to protect, and they have enough gravitas and enough, how to put it this way, enough gravitas and enough FU money to say, no, Disney, we're not doing it that way. We're doing it the way we want to do it. So Disney's not the one with the power again in this situation. The Russo brothers don't need them. It's like, keep making these Marvel movies that are tanking. Keep doing it. Like, we hope to see. Let's see how that works out. Well, let's get to our last hot topic, which I'm excited about because I am a horror fan, and that would be Megan 3. The sequel 2.0 has started principal photography. I am quite excited about this. Have you seen the Megan movie?
Very scary. You know what's great about Megan? It's sort of like what was great about Chucky also. We're used to the scary movies, but these are movies. We need to have extra pizzazz, something unique. And they did. They made a colorful kind of girl, when she dances and the skirt twirls. That visual, it changes everything. Just having that threat walking up to you with a knife and a dagger, it was creative, and that's what you need.
You totally do. And again, in a way, it was Chucky 2.0, because instead of just having the standalone doll, you've got this doll, which is basically like AI, and it's continually learning at a crazily fast pace. And not only is able to learn, but able to manipulate at the same time. It's just like, dang, that's just...
Who would have thought? Terminator meets Powerpuff Girls.
Exactly. Who would have thought so? And matter of fact, I watched Megan with my sister last night. We watched the unrated version. And she was like, oh, this is... this is a trip, but this is where Blumhouse is making their bread and butter from. They're making these like PG-13 horror type movies. Like, for example, Five Nights at Freddy's. That's getting a sequel. That's coming out, I think, October of next year. That one's going to be coming out. Blumhouse is making money hand over fist. Isn't there going to be a Megan thing at HHN? There was one last year. They had the Megan Horde. So they had like about 15 of these actresses dressed like Megan, and they were just all dancing together. Because that was the promo that the Megan movie was doing. They were going to different places, and they had all of these girls dressed like Megan all dancing in... It was crazy and creepy at the same time. And yes, I missed them at Halloween Horror Nights last year. I hope they have them this year at Halloween Horror Nights because it was just so creepy.
Okay, this is a girl character, the one on the right side, right? So she's gonna be older by 2 or 3 years. It's not gonna hit the same. Her innocent acting was great and it accomplished what it needed to do for this movie. If she's gonna be a character who also appears in this reboot, in the sequel, I'm worried they'll try to use her the same way they used her. She's older now. She shouldn't be so cute and innocent anymore. She should be hardened. And we, as the audience, can be like, yeah, Emily, what's her name? She grew up. Yeah, now she's like aware of Megan, and maybe she can get the final blows and she can have her heroic moments. They could do that, but they could also make the mistake of making her act the same way, and we'd go, no character progression. Yeah,
That's true. They would have to make it like the second Chucky movie, I believe. When the kid was grown up, or he was older, I think it was like a teen, I think. And I agree. It's like it's not the innocent thing of the first one. It's like, no, the doll's not gonna hurt me, as opposed to this doll is freaking evil. Okay, it tried to, kill my aunt, tried to kill me, use all my secrets against me, So that's definitely a concern. It's like, how do you come up with a sequel that's worthy? Like, have you seen the movie Smile?
yes. Smile
Creepy.
2.
Yeah,
ahead.
that's what I'm looking for. Smile 2. I saw the trailer for that, and I'm like, okay, we'll see. They're bringing back the original team, but with sequels, it's always tricky. It's like you need to do something that we don't expect.
I want to
Else
use Deadpool
why
2
not?
as an example too. What we knew was gonna happen was more vulgar jokes in Deadpool 2. The little baby feet, the jokes were still there. They kind of capitalized on what worked and repeated. Yeah, Deadpool 2 was original. I don't know, maybe it's a bad example, but there's all the characters just remained the same and they just kind of did the same thing. They didn't have young actors, so they didn't have anything that I needed to. Oh, this is the second time around. That's why they need to have changes. They can do the same with Deadpool 3.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. We'll see what happens. See what happens with it. I like the dog already. Linux says people keep forgetting that Five Nights at Freddy's was always a huge franchise because of the games. Yeah, I know I didn't, because Camera Girl knew about Five Nights at Freddy's. I made the mistake of saying, oh, I'm going to see the Five Nights at Freddy's booth. Oh, well, there's this and there's this part and there's this part and there's this part. And I knew it was a big gaming franchise. I knew that movie was going to be a hit when, well, one, you couldn't get a ticket like 2 weeks before the movie came out. And this was a film that came out in theaters and on streaming the same day.
Wow.
And then when I'm in the theater, certain parts of the film, people are like reacting like, oh my God, that's so-and-so. That happened in the book. I'm like, oh, okay. All right. They know exactly what they're doing. But you are absolutely right, Linux. That was already a huge franchise, but there's an art to taking that franchise and putting something on screen that, whether you're a diehard franchise fan playing the game or reading the books, or someone who's just watching it, both of those audiences are sucked in. And that's what Five Nights at Freddy's did so well.
That's what Super Mario did. All those sound cues, the DK rap. Like I was Easter egg hunting the whole movie. Sonic the Hedgehog did it too. They didn't make as much money, but some of these movies are going to make $1 billion. Barbie's not a video game, but Barbie has just this huge fan base. No surprise, it made $1 billion. It made more than Black Panther.
Mm-hmm. They made a ton, and their marketing was on point. Speaking of marketing, I haven't seen any merchandise for the Acolyte.
Yeah, so why do we do these shows? Like, when they look at the numbers and they see that, okay, well, with The Mandalorian, we got this little character that was a really hot, and The Mandalorian himself sells. We've got a Book of Boba Fett. Okay, we sold some Boba Fetts. There's already a fan base there. They needed new action figures. Who's buying Soul and Osha and May and I don't see it. I don't see the Fortnite skins for this TV show. It's lackluster.
There's nothing in the parks, and I'm looking because Ahsoka, there was merchandise everywhere. It's still there. All the other ones, but the Acolyte, no. So they knew. They 100%.
Yeah, but that's like tangible evidence that you can't fight. When that Kathleen Kennedy being in charge shouldn't happen anymore. Her contract's up at the end of 2024. Are you hearing anything? Or you think it's up, or you think they'll renew it?
Disney's been stuck on stupid before, so they could very possibly do a second season. Remember, it all boils down to who wants it bad enough and can manipulate things well on the back end to get that show going. I mean, case in point, what was it? That new Scooby-Doo show with Mindy Kaling? That thing got greenlit for a second season only after, I think, like 2 or 3 episodes.
Okay.
So I would not be surprised if they come up with...
If they go, even though Lucasfilm gave us Indiana Jones, the flop that it was, and even though Willow isn't even on Disney Plus anymore, it's not even worth the bandwidth to keep on a streaming service. Kathleen Kennedy knows what she's doing. Let's give her another shot at it.
They will. She'll say, "Don't you know my record? Don't you know who I am?" Yeah, she ain't going nowhere, and they'll more than likely give her. I wouldn't be surprised if they come out with the next one. Kiss My Grit says Lorena, what are your thoughts on actors from Stranger Things saying that season 5 will basically be 8 full-length movies versus episodes? If I'm AMC or Regal, I'm striking a deal with Netflix. Well, based on season 4 and how well that did, the Duffer Brothers they're just making money all over the place. So yeah, if you are AMC or Regal, you are going to probably want to lock those in. 8 full-length movies. I hope they release that. I hope they stagger the release and don't drop them all down at the same time. Either way, that last season of Stranger Things is going to make a ton of money. It's just going to make a ton of money. I am just hoping the Duffer Brothers do not F up their live action remake of the anime Death Note. Death Note is not an anime that you can F up. You think Star Wars fans are bad? Mess with anime fans.
They've already done, though. The way that N was portrayed by Lakeith Stanfield, it wasn't accurate. They've done movies, though, so this is going to be a TV show. I think that can translate very well. There's really nothing special other than the Shinigami in Death Note. There's really nothing special that the difference between animation and live action will be staggering. You can do it. They can do it. They've done Netflix Avatar, which was good. They've done enough. One Piece
was good.
People like that. I didn't watch it, but people loved it. They can do Netflix Death Note. Just give it another try. Dragon Ball took a couple tries. I think they're gonna get it the next time. They'll get it eventually.
Yeah, I'm like, if the Duffer Brothers, they pretty much know about how to keep a franchise intact. So Death Note is kind of like watching you. So
we're watching.
Yep, we certainly are. And speaking of watching, 27 new folks watching. So glad you're here. I'm here with my special guest, Chillmonger. Make sure you subscribe to his awesome channel. It's down there in the description box. You can go and subscribe to him. So let's run on over here to
Brave New World.
Here. Captain America, Brave New World. Now, this film has been having some serious issues. So there was a test screening for Captain America, Brave New World that went in Texas, where it went extremely not well. Some folks felt that it was too political. We'll put it this way. political to the point of being boring, because you can be political but yet keep people engaged. But it seems like to me, from reading this article, and this is from John Trent earlier on this year, that people thought that the quote unquote romance didn't seem authentic or whatever. So I guess whoever Falcon's supposed to be involved with, that didn't seem too well. And that it just seemed, just boring, which is why they had reshoots, I think, from June up until, I think, mid-August, if I'm not mistaken.
That's not reshoots. That's a new movie. Reshoots from June until when?
From June until August. So they have literally dropped, and I'm gonna have to pause this a little bit. They have dropped, I think, over is it over 400 million? Whatever money Inside Out, yes, whatever money Inside Out 2 made, this film is about to wipe that out with just its production costs. Because we're not talking, there's usually always reshoots built into a film schedule. Like you may have a week or two of reshoots just because, maybe the environment wasn't right, maybe the lighting wasn't right, maybe special effect didn't go off the way it was supposed to. So you usually have some reshoots put in there. But 2 months of reshoots? 2 months, no, not just 2 months of reshoots, okay. Not just 2 months reshoots, but they also brought in Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah, they cut out the Seth Rollins character, who I was interested. I want to see another pro wrestler make it in Marvel, but Seth Rollins is not in it anymore from the Serpent Society, and we got Giancarlo Esposito, which is not a race swap character because George Washington Bridge is really a character from Marvel Comics. I gotta give him points for that. Much better than the Wonder Main thing that they're doing. This is what I'm talking about. I mean, he's a villain, so it's not like it's good representation, but this is admirable at least. But that's how do you just change and add a villain to a movie during reshoots? They've changed a lot from this movie. This is crazy.
It's nuts. Battle Hymn says, as of now, Captain America: Brave New World is one of, if not the top, most expensive movies ever made, mostly because they refilmed almost the entire movie. And isn't that what Chillmonger was alluding to? He's like, that's not reshoots, that's a whole movie. But they literally did, because the test didn't go well. Cynthia Carter, I meant the only testing that they had. That was an article from a couple of months ago that I put up from that Park Place. It was a hot mess. And that's not understating just how badly things were with this. Kiss My Grit says Captain America: Brave New World, and oh shoot, that's another one. Snow White will cost a combined $800 million, not including marketing. So all of those Inside Out 2 profits are already gone. So if you're talking about a combined cost of $800 million, it's going to have to make at least $2 billion to break even.
I don't know. I don't see it happening. We're about to learn in real time. Does the mantle swap work? They've never had one. They had Black Panther 2, but this level, this degree of we're just going to put it on a new character, this is going to be like market research. Now, how often has market research ever mattered to that company? They'll still continue doing their dumb decisions, but this is it. Does it work? Will it gross $1 billion? Because Captain America: Civil War grossed $1.1 billion. How much difference will there be with Sam Wilson holding the name of Captain America? They advertised it that way because they mentioned it in the trailer. You're Cap, but you're no Steve Rogers. They call him Cap. We had a TV show to set it up as Cap. This is it. Does it work? And I don't think it will. I think it might gross $500 million. It's a summer release, isn't it? No, it's a February release.
It's a February release.
That's terrible. They think because Black Panther came out in February that, this is it. We're going to get that black audience. No, you idiot.
Yeah, we got to get it for Black History Month.
February has a reputation for being let's just dump our movies there and that. None of the Oscar movies come out in February. Everyone knows that. What happened with Black Panther was a rarity. Actually, they self-admittedly, because when Chadwick was still alive, and they announced the second Black Panther. They were up on that D23 stage, and they said Black Panther 2 will happen in May of 2022. So when you actually know that you have a huge franchise, you drop it in May. If February was such a big thing, it would have been in February of 2022. So they know that. Them dropping this in February, expecting people to come out, especially in the north, like in New York, Philadelphia, it's freezing cold. You're just gonna go and see this movie? No, you'll wait 90 days for it to be on streaming, because that's what Falcon is. He's the streaming character, unfortunately.
Yeah. And he wasn't good enough as Falcon. They had to make him Captain America 2.0. And that was my problem, because when I saw the advertisements for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I'm like, okay, I'm going to get to know more about Sam Wilson, because I didn't quite know a whole lot about him. So I'm like, okay, this series, I'm going to find out about who he is as Falcon. And that's not what I got. And it's
he's
just
from
like,
Louisiana. You got that?
I guess so. Yeah. We got that. That's about it. But just, getting that backstory about, more about Falcon, that's what I was looking forward to. And it's just like, no, that character of Falcon isn't good enough. We have to make him Captain America 2.0. And in my brain, I'm like, okay, well, I have two problems actually with that, because one, he didn't take the super serum. He doesn't have the super serum. And he can't throw the shield right because he doesn't have the super serum. So I'm like, I got a problem with that. I mean, Falcon being able to fly, that's cool and everything, because I think he was a paratrooper, right? I think, or something like that.
Yeah, he was.
I think that's what he was.
The MCU canon, he was.
Yeah, so that makes perfect sense. That's his quote unquote superpower. That's what it is. Same thing like Black Widow. She has her skills as an assassin. That's what her skill set is. That's where her superhero thing is. But you can't make Captain America. It's like a dollar store Captain America, and it's like, you can't make me believe it. Yes, exactly, and it's recognizable.
Now everyone look and listen to the audience that Lorena represents in her demographic and her words. Rodney Barnes is a comic book writer, Black writer. He's the guy who does Philadelphia, great writer. After the experiments in 2015 to 2017 of the comic books by a white writer, a Caucasian man was doing the comic and decided Sam is going to be new Captain America. When that was over, in 2017, pull it up, Falcon, the brand new issue number 1, written by Rodney Barnes. And let's read. You see it down there? I DM'd it to you if you...
Oh, here. Oh, sorry. Here we go.
It says Falcon. Okay. So this is on the first ever issue written by very melanated brother Rodney Barnes. He says, Sam Wilson was Captain America for a time, but in the aftermath of the Hydra takeover led by an evil version of Steve Rogers, he's chosen to step away from the mantle and build a legacy of his own. That's ownership, baby. As the high-flying Falcon, along with his new protege, Rayshawn Lucas, a.k.a. the Patriot. So you see, he's got a junior now, right? Because that's how major Falcon is. This is what Rodney Barnes wrote. He's embarking on a new mission to decide what kind of hero he wants to be. So we can see the upliftment, the empowerment, when it's actually like a black mind going, oh, let's elevate. And we're even going to make him look superior by having a little protege underneath him. This is elevation. This is empowerment. If this movie was called Falcon Brave New World, I'm there every single day. I'm going to watch this movie, multiple viewings. I'm going to bring a crowd with me because Sam Wilson is now making Falcon a brand, right?
Right.
When people who don't understand representation are in charge, they do, let's tell the audience Sam is movie worthy when he starts donning the skin of a white guy. That's not empowering at all. It's the opposite.
No, it is, how would I put it? It's representation in name only.
I got it.
And that's what it kind of tells
I'll show you
people.
what it is. Share my screen now. It's this. Okay. You're familiar. You're the one who showed me this. Remember the Reimagine Tomorrow inclusion standards? You got to knock out 3 out of 5 of these things. And yeah, that's absolutely right. And it is an underrepresented group is going to be an overall theme and narrative. That's what we got here. That's all it takes. None of this really addresses issues. It's just to the non, how do I say this without being offended? Let's call them people of colorless. To them, this is what they think helps. Yeah, as long as we're doing that. Yeah, underrepresented groups, which doesn't even matter. Like saying someone is an underrepresented group, everybody. This includes handicaps. This includes people who speak with their hands because they don't actually have the vocal cords. An underrepresented group could be a ginger. An underrepresented group, it's everywhere. Let's address skin. Let's talk about that. Or we're not talking representation. You're just kind of like diluting the main issue. You're all lives mattering. The Black Lives Matter. You're just, oh, let's not focus on this one. This needs attention. Cool. Let's talk about everybody.
Yeah, and that's not homogenizing it. I guess what you would say. It's like, oh, marginalized group. Well, it can be ethnicity, it can be disability, it can be, it's not to borrow a line from oh my gosh, from The Incredibles. Syndrome says, when everyone is super, no one will be. When everyone is marginalized, no one will be.
Which is
like what is it? It's not special. There's nothing that stands out. When you're saying, they'll say, oh, we're just going to make everybody marginalized. So what? Like, for case in example, if you say, okay, we're going to have this character that's deaf. We're going to have this superhero that's deaf. There's a certain set of skills that they have. We'll say, in order to compensate for that, you have deaf people who can identify with that. It's almost, I won't say almost, what's the same thing? Like Donnie Yen's character in John Wick 4. Okay. He was blind assassin. He didn't fight like everybody else did. And it was pretty freaking cool the way that he compensated for the fact that he didn't have sight. So he fought differently, which actually made him more lethal. That's something that's special. When you have, a quote unquote group, we'll say, if you want to represent someone or say write for a character that's Black, yes, empowerment in a world where they do not feel that they have power. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
And that's something that I don't know if it's because they don't really want to deal with the truth of that situation, or it makes them uncomfortable, so they just lump everyone together. I don't know, but it comes off as extremely disingenuous. Like, we did something right. I mean, we gave you Shuri as Black Panther. I mean, that should be okay that we just swipe his sister for him, right? I mean, she's Black, right?
You still got a Black Panther? No, it's about the title character. And so long as the primary character of this franchise is not there, I'm not there. I'm not going to support your all Panthers matter like new strategy. Because even in the video game, it's not going to be T'Challa. It's going to be his granddad fighting with Captain America. Like, they're just trying to make you think of Black Panther and not the main character. Did you watch X-Men 97? Well, it wasn't T'Challa. They made clear his name was T'Chaka. That's T'Challa's dad. They're trying to make you not think of T'Challa anymore when it comes to the Black Panther franchise. Everything they're doing is wrong in the Black Panther franchise. Even the Eyes of Wakanda TV show, they're advertising that there's going to be a lot of people throughout history who tried to get vibranium for Wakanda. Do you know why I love Wakanda so much? It's because they were uncolonized, no interference, and how strong they were. You're going to tell me that throughout history, years and years, guys were sneaking in, getting vibranium here, getting vibranium there, and meanwhile, every episode is going to have a brand new Black Panther. Why are we diluting and not just emphasizing this great character who was super successful and he made it? What is it about this one character that is being treated differently from every other character? Like Balin's Skull, when he died, Ray Stevenson died. They're going to recast. There's already a casting call out there. William Hurt in Captain America: Brave New World. William Hurt died. Here comes Harrison Ford. He's playing Thunderbolt Ross. What is it? And what do they say at the beginning of the movie? Oh, You changed your mustache. Yeah, I had to shave
You
the
changed
mustache.
you
That
changed
was
your
it.
look. Yeah.
And we're all on board. What is it about Black Panther? I wonder why he can't continue. And we're gonna focus on other Panthers. That's not even the biggest controversy of this movie. The recast thing is whatever. Did you see Sabra in this trailer?
I did see Sabra, and that actually brings me to the other point that I want to bring up about this film that I've heard about. Captain Marvel, well, say Captain, I can't believe I said that. Marvel strips Captain America Brave New World character of Israeli identity after boycott threats. Now, I did not know anything about this character whatsoever. But what I do understand, and Chill, you can provide some background. Apparently, this is a character of Israeli origin in the comic books, and that's her background. I think she's she's a Mossad agent, I think,
Right.
which is Israeli intelligence. But apparently, for this movie, they are just making her a Russian agent, aka like Black Widow, like Natasha Romanoff. And stripping that Israeli identity from the comics. And supposedly, there's people that this change was done because people had threatened to boycott it because of this.
And the interesting thing is, all my friends who are on the boycott, and I see on my home feed, they're still boycotting because it's no matter what you do to the movie version, this character, comic book wise, for years has been established as an Israeli, and Israel, for the last 76 years, but specifically this year, has been very negatively perceived online from at least my friends. And then there's people going, "Yay, Israel!" And they're probably pissed because you're de-Israelizing her and making her a Russian Black Widow. So all right. As far as boycotting goes, the company as Disney is in bed with Israel, and if you want to boycott Disney in general, you want to cancel your Disney Plus, that makes sense to me. I get it. I understand that, and you don't want to see any Disney movie, cool. But if you are seeing some Disney movies, but not seeing this Disney movie because of a cast member who is really not that significant in here, like in the trailer, she has 2 or 3 scenes in it. I just don't feel like that's the message gets across. Like an Israeli character, if you're anti-Israel because of the way that they stole land and everything, I'm with you. I'm right there. But if you go, Sabra, I think that's just too minuscule of a character to warrant the boycott. So I disagree with the boycott for that reason. It doesn't matter though; it's still going to happen, and then maybe even people on the Israeli side are going to say, "Yeah, we need Israel representation, and this is wrong." So, good luck to this movie making money.
Yeah, because I could see that. It's like if this character, well, again, two sides. You have the MCU people with no idea who this character is. Shows up, oh, she's a Black Widow like Natasha is. Okay, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But if you read comics, then you're going to say she's supposed to be Israeli. Why is she Russian? So I can get why some people would be, quote unquote, upset by that. But I also would say that, again, like we're saying, just based on these clips that we're seeing right here in the trailer, who knows what's going to wind up going on with this character. But also, it may not be an issue of, oh, we're just erasing her Israeli identity, as opposed to the MCU is the MCU as far as Disney is concerned, and the comic book universe is the comic book universe. So either way, we don't know enough to base that on some kind of boycott, but I just found that interesting to see this film. There's so much that's weighing on it. There's so much that's against it, and I agree. It's not really going to make a lot of money.
No, it's not going to make a lot of money. It's
going to be here and gone.
And this boycott of this character, it's not going to affect it. But when the movie does make less money than they project it to, I just wonder what message will they perceive? Will they go, "Oh, black leads don't sell"? Is that what they're gonna go with? Like, I really want to know what they do here. This Israel thing is
good idea.
And this Israel thing is like of the least importance. Her as a comic book character, she's really not that hot. I can name 100 Marvel comic characters who are higher profile and been used more than her. She may have never even had a limited series. She's just kind of like a supporting character. You'll see her maybe on an Avengers, which I remember seeing 4 years ago in Jason Aaron's run. Maybe issue 16, maybe? I don't know. I'm making things up, actually. I don't really know. But this character is really not that high profile, so she's not worth it. But we'll see what they do, man. We'll see how far they double down, and then we'll see the results of the movie, what the box office gross will be. Where do you project it? I said 500 million. Maybe I'm being generous, but where do you project this February release? Huh?
It'll be lucky if it makes 500 million. It's just not that appealing. I've been in a theater when the trailer is like run and people are kind of like, whatever. It's not going to make a lot of money. It just really isn't. I don't see any appeal that says, hey, I need to go and see this film. So no, I don't expect for it to do well. But the other problem that I have with it is because of that, yet again, you have a film, and granted, I still have to see it. People still have to see it. It could turn out to be okay. Is it going to be $1 billion blockbuster? No, absolutely not. You've got the D team going on here. It's not like it's an Iron Man or a Captain America, true Captain America flick. That's not there. They brought Giancarlo Esposito in during people are, if they're really going to go and see this movie, they're going to go and see it for Giancarlo Esposito. And still people are just like, I'll wait till it comes out on streaming. Why spend all that money to see it in the theater? But once again, because this film was set up poorly from the beginning, who's the front person who's going to take the brunt for it failing?
Anthony Mackie, Sam Wilson.
Yep. That's exactly what's going to happen.
It'll affect
and that's
the way
problem that I have with them.
Okay, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the problem that I have because that's where it's going. I hate that Amanda Stenberg was the lead of this show, The Acolyte. Like the one time you guys get inclusive with your lead casting, it's for The Acolyte. And
this is what you do. And that's why I'm just like, I'm never gonna let Leslie Headland, who used to be Harvey Weinstein's former assistant, I'm never letting her off the hook with that crap. Because what you did was use blackface to cover up your mediocrity.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Final thoughts on this Israeli thing. I have friends. People messaged me, like, because they know I do YouTube. They know I cover this stuff. And I told them all what I just told you guys. Like, this isn't boycott worthy. Ezra Miller Flash, if you don't want to see the movie for that reason, yeah, that's the lead actor. I understand. This isn't significant enough. But I got pushback and I got, no, listen, man, this is it. This is about Israel, over the last few months, what's been going on. I don't want to get into it because I'm on your channel, Reina, but I can get into it. Free Palestine, everybody. But like, there's an adamant, strong enough like resistance of people who are pro-Palestinians, who are Marvel fans, who just won't see this. Now, how many people, we'll find out. But that sucks because, again, the lead is Anthony Mackie, and he would like for his movie to make money. And you know what would be awesome? In the trailer, when Thunderbolt Ross says you're not Steve Rogers, I don't know how Sam Wilson will answer that. If he goes, you're right, I'm not. Here, take back this, and he takes off his USA, and he puts on like a Falcon gear. He's like, I'm Falcon. You know how awesome that would be, and what message that would be. Like that'd be something I would support very much. I don't know how he answers that question. I would like him to answer, I'm Falcon, I'm Sam.
Yeah, and I agree. And whatever your stance is on what's going on, in Israel, again, it's just like pick your battles. This film, we don't even know what's going to happen with this, and it seems to be so minuscule. But you know what? It's like you vote with your dollars. That's what it always comes down to. In the end, if Disney has all the success of Inside Out 2 and loses money in 2024, the stock price might get interesting. One of the things that you have to remember about Disney is like a hydra. Okay, they're all over the place. Cut off one head,
2 more take its place.
Yes, it is not just the parks with Disney. It is not just the movies with Disney. It's the licensing with Disney. The fact that they own the major television stations in the top 10 markets in the United States. All of their investments and everything, all of that weighs on the stock price. So just because something's out of whack with the parks does not mean that there's an immediate and bottom falling out with respect to the stock price. It's like a threat of a thousand cuts, so to speak. And then again, remember, the stock market is very emotional. So it could be down one day, up the other day. As long as you've got the likes of Vanguard and BlackRock and MoffettNathanson still pouring money into Disney, stock price isn't really going to move that much. It's on the cliff, but it's not gonna bottom out. Disney has too much in assets that it'll bottom out.
Inside Out 2 is very helpful. Deadpool 3 is going to be very helpful. So whatever negativity comes off of this, it'll even out.
Yeah, that's going to be the best case scenario for Disney, to just, hey, we break even, then that'll be good, and we can go ahead and do that. I think the cruise line is picking up a lot of slack this year. Yes, the cruise lines are doing very, very well. They're doing very well. So again, Disney is not just the shows, it's not the parks. It's a multimedia conglomerate with investments in other things as well. So, hello, Jennifer. Good to see you. Good to see you. 28 of you folks watching, thank you so much for being here. Let's move into our next topic, and I am extremely excited about this. You talk about representation, and I do have to hand it to Netflix, because there was a sci-fi, I'm going to say sci-fi horror-ish type film called They Cloned Tyrone. Have you seen that?
I've seen the first half of it.
Man, wait until you see
I know,
the twist
I know
in that.
people tell me then, and look, you go. I'll tell you why later. You go.
The twist in that film, I mean, you couldn't, it's like, what is, so much was hidden in plain sight. And it's just like, what is this film all about? And then boom, it just hits you, and just sci-fi mind bending, which went on with that film. It's just freaking genius how they did it. The motive behind how they did it, who the big bad turned out, to be, the social messaging, which didn't hit you over the head. It just presented it to you. It didn't tell you, it showed you with what was going on. And it was just amazing to watch. It was an amazing watch. So I think because I like that on Netflix, it kept saying that this is coming. And I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I'll watch it. Maybe I'll watch it. And then it kept showing up in the top 5. So I'm like, maybe I should watch it. I don't know. And then Mark with the C said, yeah, he saw it. He was just like, man, I binged that whole entire thing. I'm like, okay, I'll sit down and watch it. And of course, we're talking about Supercell, which is basically, when it comes down to it, Black sci-fi series, original characters, and which is set in South London. You've got these group of folks who they have these powers. They don't know where they came from. And you've got your main character. I'm forgetting. I think it was Michael. Was that his name? Yeah. Who's like, he's living his best life. He's, about to marry the girl of his dreams in a couple of months. They're all happy and together. Oh my God, a functional romance actually in here. But finds out, meets his future self. And
don't say anymore.
Like,
don't say anymore. And that changes everything, because the future self changes on what he's doing in the present. Now, his relationship that he's got with the Dion is her name. That's beautiful. We were
Yeah.
talking about Anthony Mackie's relationship that he's gonna have with his love interest. It's not cutting it. This did cut it. I was very happy for them. I want to see them together. And they took 6 episodes, you know, making you fall in love with this couple. So the love is present. Originality is there also. The budget, what's interesting is, I guess I can say their powers, right? Because, you know,
Yeah, because that's in the trailer. You'll
way
see the
the
powers.
way that they show someone who has super strength, they'll make the guy do a punch, which is just an actor doing this, and then the camera will cut away and you get to see all the destruction that he did. So the budget and the effects and the, you know, they were inexpensive is the word I'm looking to say. If someone can turn invisible, oh, how easy is that? All you gotta do is make sure the guy's invisible. It's easy. It's a power set. The telekinetic now that one takes a little bit of a budget. That one's gonna be
Yeah.
fancy, and I guess that's why we didn't see so much of Sabrina's powers. It was still what was the other one? The guy who can turn the guy who can just like time travel. Boom, he goes away. All you got to do is say, "Actor, get off set," and he's not on set anymore. And look, he went away. So they can execute this. If a guy has super speed, you know, aside from his super healing, which is probably a lot of where the budget went. Aside from the super fast healing, like the speed stuff is easy. You just play it in ×2 speed, and all of a sudden he's there. You know, everything that it was TV budget, and it was who was flying, you know, who was shooting out energy beams, none of that. So and it was still felt super. I didn't feel cheaped out of the budget.
No, because they followed through, which is what I would say, kind of like what you're describing. We knew the result, we knew the beginning action, and we knew what the end action of the result was. And it's like, and that's okay. We didn't feel like we were missing the big flashy middle, so to speak. So that's very interesting how they did that. That's a technique from older television shows as well, where they had a very limited budget, so they had to kind of limit what special effects that they would use. Like the guy with the super speed, they needed the effect for him because he looked like action. Because you see it in the trailer, you know, where he's got super speed. The effects that he has that shows his super speed, he kind of needs that in order to make that.
But they still did do some cheap tricks where all of a sudden, where are you? You're in Edinburgh, and the camera zooms out. That shows
that's
just
true.
how fast he was. But it also was really cheap. All he got to do was shoot somewhere else.
And one where he was just in the room and he just went in a loop. It's like that's just repeating the same frames over and over again. But yeah, I above all, I like the writing with this. You have these 5 characters who
all in
have
South
these,
London.
all in South London, which I have to say although I got one nit. Okay. South London, which is not the most affluent area in the world. And Michael's fiance is driving a BMW, which costs an insane amount of money. But I'll allow it because apparently that's a Jamaican thing to have a BMW. So I'll allow it. So it's okay. It's okay.
I'll say that there's terrible representation, and this is kind of why I quit They Clone Tyrone. They advertise it as a pimp, and a drug dealer, and I was watching. Yeah, that's what this is. Now everyone tells me there's a twist. Keep watching, but it's why I left, and maybe I gotta finish it now. But this movie or this TV show, Supercell, taking place in South London, where I see the stabbings and like that whole culture, even the music that they use, the trouble that it is. That was like hard for me to appreciate. Now, it was hard for me. It was like, this isn't perfect. I'll take the good with the bad. You know what else they didn't do though? We didn't get no lesson about sickle cell. Sickle cell, by everyone, it plays a part here. Now, everyone who's got a power has sickle cell in their family. I'll leave it there. But we never got preached, did we?
We didn't get preached. We didn't. It was more of like, here's this disease that primarily primarily affects Black people, although they did have an explanation as to that it isn't just Black people who are affected, but that the biggest population that was. They didn't use it for, we'll put it this way, they didn't use it for awareness. As far as I'm concerned, it wasn't.
I disagree. It
It
was
was a
awareness.
plot. It's a plot. It was a plot device. Do you mean like super? I'm sorry. So when you say awareness, like they made mention of it.
Yeah, more people know about this. The other than this, like when in pop culture is sickle cell mentioned? The Tupac "Hit 'Em Up" song, like sickle cell is on the forefront of people's minds now. We now know, or we the general public can be like, oh, so more Black people are more susceptible to this. Good to know. It's hereditary. Good to know. There was awareness here. And then if you're ever wondering why is the whole cast Black? Oh, no one else can have superpowers. Well, you got your answer there just by them addressing it. So it resolves that. It also, if we get to later on, we'll know why it's happening specifically in South London, and it's not like some guy in New York, some guy in Japan, and some guy. It's and I'll just say it. Should I just say it? Even though it happens later, the cell kicks in when you're in proximity with another Supercell, user. I'll say. So it makes sense. It takes us a while to get there, but it makes sense.
Because it's like lightning bugs. When they're in proximity to one another, they kind of they communicate. But going back to representation, I knew that I had known about it because, well, I think it was one of the girls from TLC, I think, that had sickle cell. So that's how I found out about it a lot in. We won't say like in like a film or something like that, but it's more just like general. They got interviewed. She would talk about it a lot with her story. So I guess for me, I'm watching this and I'm kind of like, well, this kind of seems a little old because from all the information that I've seen in the States, and also when I go to donate blood or something like that, I usually get tagged as, hey, do you want to donate it to a sickle cell patient because you have a particular blood type? So the American Society of the American Red Cross, they have a consistent campaign that if you are a particular blood donor, these particular populations need it more, like sickle cell and stuff like that. So I think with this film, they set it up as a plot device, and they made it an awareness kind of like I felt it was at a superficial level to start with. I could see where they were going because they were using it. I'm trying not to give any spoilers. They do use it as a plot device. So I don't know how much awareness they're going to go to with it, if they're going to push that further or not. I think that's probably, if they get a season 2, I think that's where they'll go with it in season 2. But they did use it again as a plot device. Let's just say if you've seen Species 2, you probably know where I'm going. I think that's. Have you seen that movie?
No.
Okay. Species 2. I'm going to spoil it for some of y'all. Let's just say for Species 2, sickle cell was used as a weapon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, somebody just mentioned Fight Club. That's where he learned about it. Douglas says Fight Club. Do you remember what scene he's talking about?
Okay. Hey, Douglas. No, you know what? Y'all are going to laugh. I have never seen Fight Club. And I have a DVD all sealed up of Fight Club. And I have not seen it yet. So
well, he's still in the live chat, so he can let us know. Okay.
Sickle cell, that is. Yeah.
So some of the characters, so Taser, this guy was like warped, the way that his grandma was speaking to him, though, about how, the boys from that neighborhood, the boys from this neighborhood, they got the same upbringing. It's the same like global results that brought you here in this. I agree with that. And I love that the grandmother spoke some wisdom into him. Now he's a teenager. He's still like in one ear out the other, but it was very good. Douglas says it was an all-Black support group in Fight Club. Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay.
The Taser character, I got some problems with him, but and I'm angry with the character in a good way. Everyone else was pretty good. Like when Sabrina found out Michael also had a parent who got sickle cell, she's like, our parents also, we were the same way. Yeah, there she is right there, Sabrina.
Mm-hmm.
And her sister, her sister doesn't have powers, but she's gonna get powers, right? If Sabrina has them, she's gonna activate them also, and maybe that's how she'll get out from where she is in the condition that she is. By the time we get to the end of the show, she'll be like, getting her powers. I don't know what power can they do. What are we missing? What can they do?
They'll find something. They'll find something out. I mean, it's not lost on me that the kid with super speed is like, okay, that's obvious. They're channeling the Flash for that. With Sabrina, because she has telekinesis, it's like we've seen it before. But I like how I want to say for each character, how they become aware of their powers. Like with Taser, he's like, I'm a freaking ghost. He's there and then he's gone. He's there and then and then he's gone. With Michael, it's just like he's
Chaos.
in one time and then he's in another time. And if you've ever seen the anime JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Michael basically has Star Platinum the world.
Mm-hmm.
That is, in a nutshell, that's what he has. With Sabrina, finding out that she was getting cheated on. And let's just say, she put boyfriend into the house with those powers. But it's not like she's like, yeah, I did that. It's just like, what is this? I don't understand, what this is. I wasn't trying to kill him. I just, I was just not happy with him. She's just like, I'm not that I'm not that girl to go over to his house. And her sister says, yeah, well, I am that girl. So let's go. So it added just these human dimensions. I mean, yeah. And there were other things that I really didn't like. It's like, is it necessary to show like all of the crime that goes on? Is it necessary to show the promiscuity? Is it necessary to show some of these things? I'm of the opinion where I am not one to tell you what your artistic vision should be. That is definitely not my place. Did it take from me watching the episode? The show? No, not really. But there were some things that did kind of bug me, environmental wise. But it's like I don't live in South.
How much did it enhance the show? Could we have done a little bit different? Like, there's one character, I think his name is Crazy, but there's that one character that you needed him to be that way because he unites storylines. But everything else, damn, like I didn't like Andre, the guy with the son. I think his son was named AJ. I didn't need that.
That was, I'm just like, do we have to? I think I would have been okay with that if he had his son. Like if his son was living with him.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't like, okay, I have to, beg his mom to, be with her. Why did he have to be an ex-con? I mean,
we didn't need that. I think the creators of this show were trying to be like, let's show those Americans it's hard out here still for our culture, isn't it? Let's let them know that we've got the slums also in gun violence as well. Like, yeah, okay, guys. All right. It gets pretty bad. It gets bad in South London, doesn't it? All right.
It's like it gets bad in North Philly. It gets bad, in Liberty City. In Miami, it gets bad, in all of those places. But it's at least it's there, but it's not overboard. But it's still kind of like, okay, I could have done without that. But it's like, aside from that, the fact that they come up with these characters who are original, the conflict is original. How they come up with that. When it gets revealed later on, just why they are the way that they are and why there are people trying to capture them. I'm like, that works well. Even how they started with an escape, which is important later on, in the show, and you're seeing her eyes glow. It's like already the mystery is set up. Like, what is this person? And
we get the answer, and we know who that person is.
Yes. Yes, they do a very good job of keeping you up to date with what's going on. They do the setup and the payoff, the setup and and the payoff. All the actors are great in this. I really did enjoy them. The accents are thick. It takes you well.
Rodney, is that the super speed guy? I don't understand a single word the super speed guy says, but hey, his physical acting is fine. I get it.
Yeah, he does his comedy and his action. I don't know what the heck his accent is, but some of them are very thick. Some of them are South London accents. I understand the Jamaican accents more than I do the South London ones. But overall, yes, it is a good series. It's original. There's a mystery that is not solved the first time around. You have to literally, and you want to watch every episode with what's going on. You want to see, is Michael going to wind up getting in touch with the people that he needs to? Is he going to actually get a hold and understand what his superpower is and why he has these superpowers? It's really good. And as you can see on IMDb, I mean, it is rated right there. It's like at 8. And I think last week it was at 32, but numbers don't lie. And this is Samba TV. Now, this is the top streaming programs as of July 12th.
Okay, House of the Dragon, sure.
House of the Dragon. We all know that. That's not a surprise. Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F. That was doing big numbers. A Family Affair, I have not watched, so I don't know. Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire. That's on Max. The Bear, that's a big series. That's on Hulu. The Boys, season 4, which is on Prime. The Worst Roommate Ever. I did watch that. That was good. That's on Netflix. You have Supercell, season 1. Then you have Presumed Innocent below that on Apple, and Your Honor, which is a really good series with season 1. So this series is not it's not a fluke. It's got legs.
Yeah.
And I really hope it stays that way.
Yeah, it's season 2 worthy. And the complaints that we're making probably won't be so present. The occupation of Rodney, the super speed guy, he probably won't be dealing with that anymore. We got the job that Taser does. He won't be doing that anymore. Crazy. The crazy guy, that dude, I see him in a different light after this episode. So I think we're good on the negative portrayals. You got your street cred, everybody. South London, bad. Got it. Now let's get with the supernatural.
Yeah, we got that. Reina, is there a supermanish character in Supercell?
No. Is there a noble kind of guy? Like maybe Michael is that guy?
He's about the closest thing when you say noble.
Andre. Andre does great things. He's good dad. And then towards the ending where Andre kind of makes a decision, and he's strong, right? So that's the Superman. Yeah. Yep. So that would be him. I'll binge it. Yeah, it is definitely worth the binge. And no D+. Nope, not at all. Not at all. The Acolyte. Yeah, July 1st to July 7th. It should be Acolyte. Nope.
No, it is not tracking.
I'm happy people aren't just complaining. They're also tuning out. Good. That's how, this is embarrassing to the people who work at Disney, and it might result in change. But again, sometimes they double down on stupid. Yeah. But it's like what it boils down to is, I always tell people I'm not a boycott person. You watch what you like and turn your attention towards the things that you like. And with these ratings here, and this is from Samba TV, they track all of the streaming numbers. This is people voting with what they want to watch with respect to. I'd say withholding your dollars, no matter what you call it. It is boycotting. It is the messages felt all the same. It's not an organized campaign, but people are not watching Acolyte, and it's being felt.
There we go. Hey, Lonnie, how you doing? You got lightning? Yeah, I hope it doesn't hit. Hope it doesn't. Hope it doesn't hit here. One last thing about Supercell, because I don't want people to be blindsided. And this is kind of like one of my biggest nits that I have with it, and Mark with the C had the same one. Again, not to detract from enjoyment, but kind of like a, did y'all really do that? And it's basically making 99.9% of the white characters the bad guys without any context. So that is kind of, and this is why, because I can't say it's because you haven't finished watching They Clone Tyrone.
Yeah.
That had a different twist to it that made it just look like,
You should say it. Don't worry about ruining my movie enjoyment. It's been out for a long enough time. Just say it.
Okay, so in They Clone Tyrone, okay, it seemed like all the bad guys were the white guys. But the true bad guy happened to be a black scientist. And because he lost his brother in violence, he basically wanted a program to, let's just say, to make black people more docile. So it was his idea. It wasn't a white guy's idea. They were just basically his enforcers, but he's the one who came up with the idea. So with this one, it's like I would have liked it better if it was just a panel of everybody, because the one thing with England, and this is true, England is more about class than it is about race. From what I've seen from being over them, what I've heard about with friends who've been over there, it's more of a class struggle than a race struggle. So if you had your, let's say, your bougie West End Londoners, not West End, excuse me. Yeah, West End Londoners, okay, who were just like, you know what, we need to keep those people there. Don't let them out of South London. Make it a class thing. I kind of would have felt that a little bit more, making them the bad guys. But just to make all the white people bad people. Although I will say, Karen is the ultimate bad one. And that's how they drop it off. So hopefully there will be a season 2, or maybe they'll explain that a little bit further. But then again, for me, that's a nit. But to give you guys full disclosure, that is in there. But it's not something that will detract from.
Like the highest profile villain of this show is crazy. It's a black guy. I tell that to Mark and you. I tell you that who are the good white guys? So Rodney's friend was kind of cool. He was a white guy. And was there any other? It's like a social worker at all who had like there's some good nurses in there.
Yeah, I guess when I'm talking about primary figures. Like the one head guy, like him. And then of course we saw the head person, which turned out to be Karen. So when
anybody
you're talking
with
about
a lab coat. No, you're right.
Yes.
I'm with you.
So when I
oh no, okay. We're talking patterns, we're talking about media in totality. Like white people, you can afford to have this one, right? But if you are sensitive to that, then you're sensitive to that. What am I gonna tell you? I just think that okay, maybe season 2 can make that change and introduce like a or up, you know, like they said, everyone who has sickle cell, they don't all got to be black. You can be white also and have sickle cell. So I don't know, does that solve the problem if the new character with sickle cell, but he's a white guy from like Spain, and that makes things better? I don't know.
I don't know. It's like we'll see. It's like we'll see where they go with it. I know there's some people it's like, why all the black guys got to be villains? White guys got to be villains. I'm like, hey, there was a time when being a villain, that was a badge of honor, because that was like the best role that you could possibly get. But at the same time, let's just say, would this be an issue of, say, this was a sci-fi show about, you know, people in Ireland who have superpowers and the English are the black people? Who knows? So again, just full disclosure for folks who might be sensitive to that, because some people that are. But I would say, do not let that sensitivity cheat you out of a very, very good watch, because how many times have we heard out here in the pop culture sphere, how come there aren't any original Black characters? Here you go. And it's very obvious by the ratings that people are enjoying. They are enjoying this. Think about it. So
Yeah.
they are. Hey, Amanda, good to see you. Good to see you. Well, Chill, I will give you the last word on Supercell. If you would
The last
give
word
it a
on
rating
Supercell,
1 to 10.
it gets a 9 out of 10 for me. The last word on Supercell is watch it, please, because I hate the complaints with. And now we got something. What is it? Number 7 on the rankings right there.
Number
Great,
7. Yeah.
good. And you know what's amazing? House of the Dragon only dropped 1 episode, and it dominated the week with 1 episode instead of 6. But shout out to the House of the Dragon. Supercell deserves a season 2, and we're the reason why it'll happen or it won't happen.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And Douglas A. Burton Hillo says, right on, good storytelling solves almost everything. Yeah. You tell a good story. You can have some crappy special effects. We'll just laugh at those. But, you have a good story.
Yeah.
Who can say anything against it? Story's intact and not, we're all good. Alyssa 1225 says, this has been so fun to listen to you. Okay, well, I'm glad to hear
that.
that.
Was for me, Lorena. That wasn't you. It was Chillmonger. Okay. I appreciate the comment, Alyssa.
You're welcome. Absolutely. Now, Chill has some amazing insight. So that's why I love having him on the show today. But you're right. I haven't seen very much talk about this show, we'll say, in some of the spheres that we run in. And one of the reasons why I like my show here is to put into people's consciousness about some of these other properties that you're not seeing. And Supercell is definitely one of them. So check it out. Amanda says, I've heard mostly good things about Supercell. I hope it gets a season 2 for the fans. Haven't been watching new shows lately. Been revisiting old shows like Doyle's Lost World. Yeah, I'm tracking Supercell on Netflix. It's been, I want to say, around 2 to 4 of the top 10 every week on Netflix, where I've been looking at like new stuff. It's been up there on the front splash page. You don't have to search to find it. It'll get suggested to you. So that's another thing about how much support that Netflix has been giving this. And I think the guy who's a writer, Ratman, I think he's only like in his mid-30s.
Oh, good. So we got like a whole career worth of good stuff from him. Good. I got it on the top Canadian TV shows or Canada TV shows. It's number 4 right there. It's in 4th place. That's cool.
Yeah, it is. It is really up there. So I'm glad to hear it. I'm going to keep talking about it. I know the Dark Council is going to be talking about it next week, but I wanted to bring it up to you guys. So definitely do check that out. Let me know in the comments if you've seen Supercell, so you can let us know how you like it. And with that, folks, we're going to wrap up today's show. Thank you guys so much for attending. I hope you appreciate that. Chill, please let the people know where they can find you and what you have going on your amazing channel.
If you spell it like this, you'll find me on YouTube. If you want me on Twitter, spell it with an additional R. And if you want me on TikTok, it's 3 R's. And yeah, I'd rather do that than, look.
Smart.
So Chillmongers, where you can find me. The next cool thing I'm gonna do is a rap battle where I put on a Kevin Feige hat and I start pretending like I'm about to diss T'Challa and why he's not getting recast. Look out for that.
Ooh, that's gonna be hype. That's gonna be hype. I cannot wait for that. Folks, please make sure that you are subscribed to Chillmonger on YouTube, following him on Twitter, and of course following him on TikTok as well. So as for your girl, it's kind of a chill week for me because my sister's visiting. As a matter of fact, we're supposed to be.
Oh yeah, we went over.
We went over by a couple couple minutes. No worries, no worries. We're going out to eat, but I do not want to miss streaming with you guys this week. Nothing more from me. Pretty much the end of this week. We're hanging out with the fam and everything, but I will be back Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern for the Welcome to Florida show. We have so many crazy ass Florida man shows, stories to catch up on. So you do not want to miss that. So thank you guys again, as always, for being here. Always appreciate it. So thankful Chillmonger could join us for the show today. And we will see you next time. Bye.